Remember when Donald Trump got shot in the head? Kind of a big deal, don't you think? And the details of that have been slow to come out. Boy, is that putting it mildly. After all, they cremated the body and everything just kind of nice, neat, and clean, and they've moved on, apparently. I would like to know a little bit more about who tried to murder Donald Trump. Joining me now, Senator Ron Johnson, one of the very few good ones we have from the great state of Wisconsin. Okay, the Senate just released a report on that Butler assassination attempt that, praise God, failed, at least for Trump. What's in it, Senator?
My favorite part of the report is at the very tail end where it shows what we still don't know, what the Secret Service and the FBI still haven't turned over to us. Let's face it, yes, what we know about what happened on July 13th primarily comes from local law enforcement. My staff reached out immediately after the assassination, talked to these folks. So we issued a preliminary report within a week, which pretty well laid out the main problems: the siloed communications, lack of coordination. The Secret Service doesn't show up at the security briefing. We knew this was a spectacular security failure. Our report does a very good job of filling in the blanks and we provide the details, but we've only had access to 12 Secret Service personnel to interview. By the way, the reason we have pretty good interviews from that is because my staff got the names of the Secret Service agents on the ground, so we knew who to contact to do interviews with. Had we not had that, we'd probably begin the runaround from the Secret Service and talking to people that provided no information. But, so we're putting the meat on the bones. There was, I think, in particular, one revelation that came out in one of those interviews. One of the snipers from Hercules 2, this is the sniper team that was obstructed by a tree. They couldn't see crooks couldn't see them. We've interviewed one of those snipers. He believes he heard a bullet whiz by him on the left-hand side. He actually thought his partner was shot, looked over, found out his partner wasn't shot, asked him, how far did that bullet fly by us on the left? I thought that flew by us on the right, which means that they thought a bullet flew between them. Now, how does that happen? So that's certainly raises additional questions, but we don't have the ballistics report. We don't have the bullet trajectory. We don't have the audio analysis of those shots being fired. We don't have crime scene photos. We don't have the autopsy. We don't have the toxicology report. We did just subpoena to get the autopsy. The House had to do that. They can't share it with us, apparently. So again, there's just so many unanswered questions. We don't know much about crooks. They apparently cracked his encrypted foreign accounts. Where's that information? Where are the social media accounts? So no, I mean, the Secret Service, FBI remain very opaque. They are the law. They hold themselves above the law. They just really thumb their nose at Congress and the American people.
Senator, I talked about this a bit in the open, and obviously this is going to be specifically about this case, but are the people in Washington aware that there is a national crisis when it comes to the American people and their trust in their institutions, that this is the kind of stuff that ends nations? I realize all these people are drunk on power, but the American people are suspicious of everything now. They feel like the government's been weaponized. And when they hear the 2 or 3 minutes you just gave us, it reeks like a huge government cover-up of something. And maybe it's not. Maybe these people are just morons or drunk on power. But what you just said to me sounds like the federal government is covering things up for the man who tried to murder Donald Trump. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just don't know enough. And we haven't been given the information. Here's the best way to answer that. We were provided an all-member brief in the SCIF, in the secured location, by the FBI, by Avril Haines, also the head of CISA. Okay, so this was all about foreign influence on this election. I was a little bit late. I get in there, and they're doing the whole Russian interference song and dance again. I'm amazed at it, but most of the senators were buying it hook, line, and sinker, and literally asking questions around that. I couldn't even believe it. Because I was late as the last one to ask questions. What I raised was the 800-pound gorilla in the room talking about, and I said, election interference. I mean, the most egregious act of election interference was solicited by Anthony Blinken. It was engineered by Mike Morrell, former deputy CIA director. It was fast-tracked by then CIA director Gina Haspel. That was that letter signed by 51 former intelligence officials that supposedly said that the Hunter Biden laptop had all the earmarks of Russian information operation, even though the FBI had possession of that for over 10 months and knew that that was a genuine computer. Okay, so I raised that. They don't even blink. I asked, okay, who directed the briefing, the unsolicited briefing to Senator Grassley and I in August of 2020, saying we were target disinformation to try and dissuade us from our investigation, which was later leaked to the media to smear me, impacted my Senate reelection in 2022. And hey, FBI director, are you investigating smurfing? He didn't even know what I was talking about. Or that's the way he didn't say that, but that's the way he appeared. They're not investigating it. That's when they cut off the briefing. I didn't get to ask about the thing I'm most concerned about in terms of this election is illegal immigrants voting. We know they've already been registered, many without even their knowledge. Now, how does an illegal immigrant get registered to vote, and for what purpose if they don't even know they're registered to vote? Somebody's obviously using their registration to cheat. And we're supposed to say, oh, and by the way, that was also part of the briefing. They're confident this is going to be the most secure election in our lifetime. I'm just not buying it. It was total BS.
Yeah, last time they told us it was the most secure. I think it took them a week to finish counting all the votes. Okay, Senator, Iran, I have to ask you about this before we sign off here. Obviously, everyone was treated to the headlines yesterday. Iran supposedly trying to assassinate Donald Trump, which I tend to believe they've been fairly open about their intention, their desire to do so. How seriously should we take this threat? I realize any assassination attempt is something to be taken seriously, but do we really have a foreign nation state trying to murder one of our politicians, Democrat or Republican? That's like an act of war.
Yeah, no, I think Iran has a record of trying to do that. Fortunately, some of their plots have been foiled. Yeah, they'd like to take out Donald Trump, but they'd like to get back at the great Satan. So we need to take that risk seriously. And the way we should take it seriously is by securing our borders. We shouldn't be letting in millions and millions of people, unvetted, known and unknown gotaways. I mean, it's obviously a clear and present danger. And Jesse, why? I mean, what would be the rationale for all this crime, the transnational criminal organizations, potential terrorists, the gangs that are going to infiltrate and take over communities? There's only one explanation. Democrats want millions of people coming to this country that are grateful to them, who will vote for them, and then you relax all controls over your election system. You tell your agencies to register voters. I'm sure that'll be done on a nonpartisan basis, and then sit back and brief the United States senators saying, we got this under control. We're working with your states. This is going to be a very secure election. We're confident of it. Yeah, you're confident that you've got it figured out how you can cheat and maybe steal this election. That's my concern.
Yeah, mine too. Senator, as always, thank you. I appreciate your time. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.